No updates yet. We're still looking into them.
Same thing with Eric Murray and Tyson.
Yeah, we just gotta see what it is. It's so early.
When it comes to, just the receivers yesterday, some of the alignment stuff, some of the drops, do you attribute that to just getting things together in a new scheme?
Yeah, I mean, concentration, details, all that. Obviously there's some moving pieces when Diami went down. So we just got to look at who's gonna end up playing some of those positions if in fact he can't go, which who knows. So just gotta detail. They gotta get more on the jugs and get a better connection.
And Liam, you used the chip blocks a lot yesterday for give your edge tackle somehow. What's the technique for those running backs to do that?
Yeah.
Hurt their tackles.
Yeah, it's a fine line. Like we always tell them, if in fact you're in a chip position and the defender jumps inside of you, don't hit him. Just let him go, because sometimes you'll accelerate the rush if you do try to chip him as he's going inside. So we try to align in that position, and we want him outside of us if possible to be able to kind of release through the defender instead of truly always chipping him. And so sometimes it's just the alignment, sometimes it's obviously chipping from the backfield. It's a fine line, and it's something that ultimately you need to do in some instances, but maybe there's some times that we don't have to as well, because I think Anton did some nice things as well.
That play that Trevor made coming out of 2 minute, getting into the BT long pass, does that kind of show just how far he's come in your system?
Yeah, that was a play that he's extremely comfortable with. And same play he got to, remember when the mic cut out in the preseason game against the Saints, where he just got to a play, and obviously has confidence with that play. It showed a lot of ownership of the system in terms of, okay, it's a run to pass, zero blitz, get to a protection, and go execute the play at a high level. So it definitely should serve as, I think, hopefully a springboard for us to continue to gain confidence and execution in the pass game. So, it was a really well executed play in a critical moment for us.
Is he playing better than the numbers might say he is right now?
Yeah, I think so in some ways, for sure. Obviously it's hard when, okay, you may miss a few throws, and then when you do make some, we don't catch them. That's frustrating for sure. I don't know how many it truly was at the end of the day. I think it was around 4 or 5. So you look at it statistically, then yeah, it should probably be higher than 50% completion percentage. And then there's some throws that he needs to make, and he knows that. And it's not a negative. It's just, hey man, we got to make these throws, and how can we help you, from a footwork standpoint, or an accuracy standpoint. Some of those things. There's some tight window throws too that are difficult, but I've been very proud of the preparation, the way that he's gone about it. And then the scramble that he made on a critical 3rd down yesterday, there is a lot of resiliency out of him and that group in general.
Can you put your finger on why the drops are kind of popping up?
It's hard for me. It's hard. It's one of those things that, whether it's, the real thing that we're trying to communicate is just not letting the ball cross our eyes, regardless of where it is. Anytime you let the ball obviously into your body, there's chance that it could not get caught. And when we let it cross our eyes is typically where you see a lot of drops happen, not just here, but around the league. So it's something that you don't anticipate, especially like Parker's been catching the heck out of it, right? He's going up, making great plays. He had a phenomenal week of practice. I have lost zero confidence in Parker Washington. It's not the way it is. It's just, who knows, the moment, whatever it is, the time, I don't know. So something that ultimately we have to continue to work on. And if we don't show the effort of improving it in practice, then it's not going to just happen on Sundays.
Coach, would you have preferred that Travis Etienne take a knee on the 1 or the 2 on that play, given the fact that it was apparently letting him score? What's your
At
general idea of the
42,
situation
really,
like
we
that?
should have, if we could have communicated to BT on the where the 2 minutes left, right? They got 2 timeouts. We're at the -44. We have a run to pass check. You're not kind of expecting it to go big, if you will, with the play call. It does. If we could have stayed in there, which I don't expect BT to know that without any form of communication prior. If we could have stayed in there, you make them burn a timeout. Now it's a -42. They have 1 timeout. We are absolutely in what we call a Rolex situation. We get down there, a -42, 2 timeouts. That's not on anybody's chart a Rolex situation, not anywhere around the league. So they decided, I think maybe off the heels of last week playing Tampa doing it and having success with it. The thing you look at is, let's say we hadn't been down there very often throughout the game. So you get down there. The worst thing that could occur is for us to not score a touchdown. Not at all. The way that we were playing defensively, and you go and say, okay, if you try not to score, basically, is what you're gonna do. You're gonna say, all right, maybe we don't even score a touchdown. Who knows? A penalty could occur. You could get offsides. A negative play could occur. Like, there's a lot of things that could happen. And you say, okay, they're gonna get the ball back with, I think it was about 55 seconds if we played it all out and they take timeouts. 55 seconds, and let's just say you don't score and you got a field goal. With 55 seconds, you're up by 3 with no timeouts. I personally, with the way that game was going and the way we were playing defensively, would much prefer to have a touchdown lead and say, all right, hey, go beat us. So those were the things that we talked through, and ultimately, I think it would have been different with 1 timeout.
Travis said he understood that the defense was doing that, but he said, unless you tell him not to score, he's going to score every time.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So, yeah, I appreciate that. It was one of those that's right on the line, right? And you're saying a minute 42, 1 timeout, very different than a minute 42, 2 timeouts. With the way our defense was playing, and saying that, and we hadn't scored many points, right, up until that point. And so to get a touchdown versus 3, I just think was probably more important for us.
What do you like about the physicality in the secondary, especially Travis on 6 tackles, 4 solos?
All of them. I mean, Tyson tackled his tail off. Travis, as you saw, made some really nice tackles. Antonio Johnson had a good fill. Eric and Dewey, both. I mean, that whole crew has definitely taken the mindset of Campy in the defense. The whole crew. I think Milo and Perk have done a great job coaching those guys in the back end in terms of the whole mindset and mentality of our defense is showing up at all 3 levels, which is extremely important for us moving forward. It's a physical game. And yes, there's so much that happens in the secondary that is based off the pass game, right? It's coverage, it's zone, it's man, it's making plays on the ball. But when you have guys that are in the back end that come and fill and play physically and violently, that's only going to help us as we go through this deal.
Hey, Liam, as you got into week 3, now week 4, is this when the chess match really kicks into gear, play color, because it's 2 games, 150 snaps a game?
Yeah, you definitely have more inventory to go off of on both sides of the ball in terms of the game planning. You're starting to see and figure your teams out a little bit more at these times, just schematically and just personnel wise, who they're trying to, or who we're trying to ultimately get touches to or get the ball in their hands. What's our best schemes that we can now start to really focus in on, hone in on? What do we do well, and how do we continue to put these guys in positions to succeed, and then combating that on the other side, right? So yeah, I definitely think with the more tape that we have on both sides of the ball in all 3 phases, the scheme definitely continues to become a little bit more important to combat what they do well and to continue to do things that we do well out of different looks and formations and things like that. Yeah.
Where did the the offense really kind of get rolling and start really clicking in Tampa last year at the level that you really wanted? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm assuming it wasn't right away. Right?
No, it was after week 4, really. You know, it was after week 4. We actually, I don't even know if we hit 100 yards rushing prior to that game, you know, prior to week 4 in Tampa last year. So might have had 100 week 1, maybe around there, but it took a little while. You know, you're ultimately, you're just trying to see who you are. What are we best at, right? Is it the zone? Is it the gap? Is it mid zone, a tight zone, wide zone, whatever it is? And, you know, what are our backs best at, right? Like, so much of it comes down to the personnel, what we're good at doing. And, you know, some of it this past week, we did some different things in terms of our inside zone versus mid zone. We're good at mid zone, so we should have just run it and said stop us. So that's what we leaned on more in the second half, which helped us. So yeah, it like that was what ETN literally just said to me as we were walking in the dining hall. Was I was just expressing frustration in myself, getting away from a few things that we do well, which they also gave us some unscouted looks and played more bare fronts and 5 down fronts. But it's like, man, we're good at this, so let's do what we're good at.
How have you seen
Couple more.
Devin Lloyd kind of take the
Yeah.
opportunity and ascend the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'm very proud of Devin. He has shown a ton of resiliency and just the way that he prepared all summer and trained and mentally got himself in a place where you know, he went and took it. He went and earned every opportunity that he's had. You know, we were playing Ventrell a little bit in some, because Ventrell had a good camp. You know, it wasn't like it was a negative on Devin. It was just, man, it's good to have more guys that can play. But at this point, Devin's, you know, not coming off the field the way he's playing right now, and playing really well in the rush, getting after the quarterback. And then, man, the guy got a T-shirt today for attacking in special teams. I mean, he's done a great job. So very, very happy with Devin, and hopefully we can continue to go here.
Travis got a snap on special teams. He ran on. Like, was that just like he filled in? Or
No, it was just we were in punt safe,
Okay.
and so it was just that he was staying on the field. Yeah.
Maybe
How
we have,
encouraging is it that this time last week we were talking about needing to learn how to finish games?
Yeah.
A week later they go out there and do it.
Huge. To not play your best, specifically on one side of the ball, and still come away with a win, that is important. Like, that's not results over process. These results do matter, as we all know. And to see our guys stay connected throughout the end of that game, the defense could have easily been pointing fingers at the offense. There was not a peep. There was just, let's go back to work. Let's get out there and go and execute, and we got to go make a play. To go and win a division game like that, physical, tough finish, comes down to the wire. That is really big for us to be able to move forward and have belief that we can go and win tight games, because obviously it wasn't the case last week. And in a game you probably felt like you played better in a lot of ways, specifically on offense. Defense had our back and really made plays when we needed to at the end on offense. So very, very pleased with their ability to stay connected and to finish a tough game the right way.
Wrap it up here.
At the line of scrimmage, when Trevor does change something, as you're watching live, is he mostly making the right decisions? Are you guys
Yeah.
seeing the same stuff?
No, yeah, he's making a lot of the right decisions. Yeah, so I've been pleased with this. You know, the screen would have been huge. You check this out of a run. We had a screen versus 0 blitz. It would have been a huge one, which he got us into the right play. You know, ends up it gets tipped by Petrie on the blitz. We're bluffing the blitzer, throwing a screen into pressure, which that was nice, and just didn't get executed. But I would say there's probably 5%, less than 5%, that he is not right on currently in the cans and audibles and stuff like that. I've been very pleased with his preparation. He has worked extremely hard throughout the week at studying the plan, doing extra on his own, and some of that is really helping us operate. Did it show in every statistical category on Sunday? No, but he is getting us in and out of the right place.
Coach, thank